Have you ever thought about how life in the United States is different from life in other countries? From the food we eat to the languages we speak, many of the aspects of our daily life that seem typical are actually very different in other countries. The same is true for college or university. Studying in another country can look very different from the typical American college experience of huge campuses, textbooks, sports, giant auditorium classes, dorm rooms, dining halls, and more. For example, even how we think about the idea of college is different. For a lot of students in the US, going to college typically means moving away from home and participating in the traditional American college experience. This might mean living in a dorm freshman year, joining Greek life, going to games, participating in clubs, and studying all night at the library. For American students, the idea of college encompasses a lot more than just taking classes. It is an experience. For many, their college campus becomes their home away from home. In the rest of the world, students are more likely to use the word university instead of college. Students overseas don't typically have a huge emphasis on extra services like housing, dining, and career services. They are also less likely to have big campuses that are mini cities, and students tend to be quite independent. They go to their university almost solely to take classes. In the United States, education beyond high school can include trade school, community college, or a four-year institution. Also, in the US, we have private and public four-year universities. The application process usually includes a combination of your high school grades, standardized test scores, admissions essay, application, and extracurricular activities. Similar to the United States, Chinese universities are divided into public universities, which are run by the government, and private universities. However, unlike the United States, where private universities like Harvard are often considered the most prestigious, in China, public universities such as Shanghai Jiao Tong University are seen as more prestigious and are very competitive. University-bound students in China must take the Gaokao, the National College Entrance Exam. The Gaokao is like the SAT but on super steroids. Many Chinese students have spent their entire lives studying for this monster test that occurs every June. Not only is it a long exam, but it's also incredibly difficult. Though many students have aced the SAT and ACT, no one has ever gotten a perfect score on the Gaokao. Students are informed of which universities they are eligible to attend according to two factors: their score on the Gaokao and the university's enrollment quotas. Together, this group meets to finalize a university and choose a major. Chinese students are more likely to study a STEM-related major like engineering, math, or chemistry, rather than a humanities or social science major like politics or world languages. Classrooms in China are usually big and have over 150 students, which is similar to large American universities. At NC State and other universities in the United States, many professors engage in debates and discussions with their students. In China, the professor is respected as the expert in his field, and there is little room for discussion in the class session. So, how long does it take to complete a bachelor's degree in China? In the US, most students graduate within 4 years, but in China, it usually takes 4 to 5 years. Grades are very similar to the American grading system. Students in China are graded on a 5-point scale, A, B, C, D, F, or a 4-point scale, A, B, C, F. In terms of student life, most Chinese students either live at home or commute to class, or they live in huge dorm buildings. Usually, there are 4 to 6 people in a single room. Because of this, getting a spot at the library is very important and competitive if students want to get any studying done. Chinese students are typically required to study in a monitored study room from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. every weeknight in order to finish their schoolwork. In the US, studying time could be less or more, but it depends on the student and their discipline. As for getting around, don't expect a lot of driving. Students in China don't need a car because most campuses are in cities with good public transportation. You can even get around on a bike. For a fun night out, students might do karaoke, go to a movie theater, bars, or a friend's house for a party. Chinese students are quite social and like to get together during the weekend to catch up and spend time together. Most students become really good friends with their roommates. So there are some similarities between Chinese universities and American universities. But there are also some key differences. Some of the biggest differences include the Gaokao exam, how professors teach, and where students live. In many ways, these differences are relevant to Chinese culture. Now that you've learned about the university system in China, we'd like to highlight a unique program at NC State University where you can experience both the American and Chinese college experiences. NC State's International Business Dual Degree Program, IBDD, allows you to study for 2 years at NC State and 2 years at Shanghai Jiao Tong University. It is the ideal program for the adventurous student that has a strong interest in living, working, and studying abroad for 2 years. Not only will you make great strides in your Chinese language skills, but you will also have 6 to 9 months of internship experience under your belt by the time you graduate. With this dual degree program, you will earn a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration from NC State University and a Bachelor's of Economics and Management from Shanghai Jiao Tong University in China. That's 2 degrees in 4 years and memories to last a lifetime. If you think you might be interested or want to know more, visit our website or email pool_global@ncsu.edu.